Let's move kind of fast here. I just want to talk real quick about the Crypto Genius Act. Here's the deal. And this one, I'm actually quite sure that people aren't getting the full story. I'm quite sure that there's stuff people need to understand about the Crypto Genius Act. I wasn't explaining this. I was having a cool conversation about this we went out to dinner with all the politics people, all the people that are like part of, they help make the Lena Khan thing happen. They work in like different campaigns. And we were talking about this and like the behind the scenes stuff of it. And I want you guys to understand. So here's the deal.
It's a very important act, the Genius Act. They named it after me, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you.
Donald Trump signed the Genius Act today, named after him, which is about cryptocurrency regulation in the United States. And essentially it promotes stable coins. It moves enforcement of crypto regulation away from the SEC to a more crypto-friendly organization. It's a very pro-crypto act, okay? And again, my understanding is that the SEC was pretty aggressive against crypto during the Biden years. There was a lot of SEC enforcement of crypto scams. All of that has sort of been abandoned, and now this truly makes crypto very hard to investigate. That's all fine and dandy. And again, a big part of this Genius Act existing is the simple math of hundreds of millions of dollars of donations from the crypto industry into politics. A lot of this is just money into politics to get legislation that benefits crypto. If you are part of Coinbase, you are clapping your hands with joy at this regulation. This is just like less crypto regulation, more money in crypto. That's part of it. But the deeper story here is about US debt. And I want to explain something. So in a country like Japan, they ran out of other people to buy their debt. Japan has a lot of debt and they want interest rates to be artificially really low. They pay like 0.1% interest, So nobody wants to buy that. Nobody in America wants to buy that. Nobody in China wants to buy that. Nobody wants to buy that. So what Japan does is they print their own money to buy it, and they force Japanese banks to use a certain percentage, like let's say 20% of their deposits, to also buy Japanese government treasuries. That's what Japan does. There's laws. If you have your money in the bank has to take 20% of that and they buy Japanese treasuries. That's the idea. The idea is like they have to funnel the savings of their countries into their debt to keep the country funded. It's the only way to keep this debt machine going for the country. Now, we don't have that law in America, but what's so interesting is that this stablecoin stuff is roundabout becoming that. So if you take your money and you put it into a stable coin, that stable coin takes your dollars and they put it into US treasuries, IOU. That is what they do. So we are supposedly, Tether doesn't, but the new ones, the ones they're regulating with the Genius Act, they're doing that. So the stable coins are literally a way for crypto, instead of being like outside of the financial system, to become the only way to prop up the current financial system. Right now, we are having crypto be a way for millions of dollars from banks all over to go into government IOUs. But what's so interesting is that if you are a regular person and you take your money and you put it in a stable coin and they put it in IOU, you don't even get the interest payment. Like this pays 4.5% interest or more. This doesn't go to you. This just goes to the stablecoin guy. They get to keep that extra yield. You get nothing. So you could have just taken your money and bought an IOU directly and at least gotten interest, but you don't get anything. So honestly, what's actually happening, everyone in crypto is super excited about this, and it will be good for like Bitcoin prices to have all this stablecoin stuff in the banking industry. But what's actually happening is a massive grift of crypto users to fund the government. It is actually a way of turning all of this crypto enthusiasm and hype into a government funding ability to help bring the borrowing costs down on our IOUs. It's sneaky. And again, if you read into what Scott Bessent has been saying, he is fully aware of this, and this is the plan. This is like their roundabout way of doing what Japan did to try and keep our debt Ponzi going. It's very interesting. It's like a securitization of treasury bonds in a way. Yes, in a way. I mean, it's taking advantage of the fact that there's passion and interest around crypto to get you to buy an IOU for cheaper, to fund your money into treasury IOUs. But it's just so funny because, in the early days of crypto, they would talk about it like it's going to break the financial system. It's going to be this whole different thing. We need to get out from the collapsing dollar. But in fact, they have fully and completely absorbed crypto into the system. It is now part of the system, and is in fact being used to sustain the system. Crypto is now a weapon to keep the US dollar alive and keep the government debt Ponzi alive. Which is just wild. What a wild end game. Why would you buy this over treasuries? You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't, but people want to because of crypto. That's it. It's just a crypto thing. So I just wanted to explain that kind of simply, but actually what I'll end is by saying this is only step one. In all countries going through debt crises like this, so many rules will get changed. They're going to find more and more ways to try and keep the bubble going. And the way to do that is to find some way to turn your savings into government debt. They have to find a way to get you to buy government debt instead of buying stocks or real estate or whatever. Like the rules will change. There's going to be, maybe they'll start forcing pension funds to put a higher percentage of their money into government treasuries. Or they'll start making banks do it. Or they'll start 401ks will have to buy a certain number of bonds. Whatever it is, they will find a way to get more money into government debt because it's the only way to keep funding our country. Speaking of the economy, in a very light summation, because I feel like I don't want to do another slowly all at once type video thing. I don't want to get too into it. I've made my point on it. I'll just keep updated. Man, auto delinquencies, so much higher than they were when I made that video. Youth unemployment, higher than I made that video. Buy now, pay later, unpaid, especially from young people, higher than what I made this video. Real estate in Florida and Texas, collapsing. Sales are collapsing. Prices are falling at a steady clip now. People are on our real estate just begging to try to find a way to unload their home at not a loss. The problems are becoming real. I understand that you can read a headline jobs number and go, unemployment's not really rising. But you have to understand, if you break into that jobs number, it is so clear what is going on. Private sector employment is in free fall. Everyone is doing layoffs. The only place hiring is government jobs, temporary work. People aren't filing for unemployment because they're going for Uber, but that is not, I'm just saying the data is actually so clear. The data is actually so clear that things are deteriorating. And to be honest, I think if most of you are participating in this economy at all, you can feel it. Nobody is noticing a wave of great jobs going around. Nobody is noticing that people's standards of living are rising. It is very clear. The headline data has not caught up yet, but I think they are aware of it and are trying to get interest rates down to zero as fast as possible to try and stave off what'll happen. My family started to budget a lot because of rising prices. Yeah, 100%. It's not the only one. Nobody is reporting. I mean, I gotta say a few people on the top of the K-shaped economy. Maybe they are, but nobody else is reporting that things are just good right now. Things are feeling good. People are feeling easy and less financially stressed. It's not happening. In fact, I think I have a great graph for you. I don't want to do a whole presentation here because I feel like I'll be a broken record. But I do have a graph that I would like to share. Dude, one of my viewers is the son of a major car company CEO. And he reached out and told me ahead of time they were doing 20% layoffs, which turned out to be true. Massive layoffs. And we were talking in this conversation about this gap between consumer confidence and employment rate that has appeared. So for all of my lifetime, these two charts have basically tracked, which basically says this is like interviewing people on what their likelihood is of the difficulty of finding a job. Okay. And then the actual unemployment rate. For whatever reason, this gap has appeared recently, that the unemployment rate is shockingly low, despite everyone saying it's very hard to find a job. This gap is weird and non-standard. This implies that the unemployment rate is like 6 to 8%, like way higher than what they're saying it is. And that is because of the gig economy. And that is what I'll tell you. What I'm trying to imply here is that it's because of gig work. People are not applying for unemployment at the level of they used to because they are going into they're going into Uber and they're going into, but it's not real. It's not like this is an economy that clearly is deteriorating in jobs and is not yet reflected in its headline number, 4.1%. That's bad, dude. And they understand that. Even if they don't say it, they understand it. And that is why they want to get rates down. On some things, they run out of unemployment. It's not even running out. I'm sure some of you know people like this. But unemployment and the hassle it is to file and the small amount of benefits it gives is often not worth it when you can just get a gig job. Many people are choosing Uber or choosing Instacart or choosing gig work rather than trying to do all the hassle applying for unemployment. It is often not worth it. They are just deciding it's not worth it. And that is leading to like a structurally lower unemployment rate than there should be. Does Amazon count as gig work? No, man, that's just backbreaking work, bro. Kind of gig work, and then it's usually temporary. People quit Amazon as soon as they can. Statistically, if you get a job at an Amazon warehouse, you will quit as soon as possible. As soon as you find anything else. The turnover at Amazon warehouses is so high that they have almost gotten every possible person in America who would work there to work there. They've had millions of employees turn over. They are running out of people who haven't tried it already, who would do it. Where's Houdat? I mean, yeah, he's sticking it out. Well, Houdat told me he used to be a streamer, and compared to that, Amazon's easy. That's what Houdat told me. Like, after you've tried streaming, I could work Amazon warehouse shift. I could do triple back-to-back shifts. Like, the hardest job in the world is built an iron skin for him.